Okay, I'm gonna let everyone in. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for coming on time. You know, we love that. We are going to wait just a little bit for a few more seconds. So if you want to, please use the QR code, or I will put the link for the attendance for this month in the chat. Let me just grab this here. Okay, so you can use that link or use the QR code to mark attendance. Please put your first and your last name on the form because a few of you have the same name. So it's easier if you just put your first and last name to make sure that you're the one that gets the extra name in the drawing for our scholarship. And I'm probably just going to keep throwing that link in the chat for the people who come in after I've already sent it, if they can't see it, so that everyone can be sure they get their attendance marked. And we are going to take another picture together in just a few minutes. So be sure to be in a good place that you can turn your camera off for that for just a second. If you don't follow us on LinkedIn, you won't know. We like to put it on our LinkedIn pages or on our Instagram pages to be able to just promote our workshops and reminisce on how much fun we have together and talk about some of the things that we learned from our speakers. So this is your fair warning. I'm going to ask you to turn your cameras on so that we can take a picture in just a few minutes. But until then, everyone, please, I put the link again in the chat for you to take attendance. Just put your first and last name on there to get your name entered into a drawing again to get a $1,000 scholarship. And then we're going to do that drawing at the end of the year. So April or May, probably in April after our last workshop. That is what our last one's going to be, is in April. And then in May, we don't have a workshop per se, but we have kind of like a graduation of sorts. It's more like a celebration of the year. So it's not our same format that we have for our workshops right now, but awesome. Okay, so as you can see, we have a few announcements to go over today, and then after the announcements, we will take our little picture. So you have a few minutes to mentally prepare yourself to turn your screen off and take that. So I just want to reiterate, I've sent a few texts and a few emails about this recently. The scholarships for this year are the scholarships for this round, for round one, they are due November 18th, and that is on this Friday before 5 p.m. this Friday, Mountain Standard Time. I know a few of you don't live in Utah anymore. Mountain Standard Time, 5 p.m. this Friday is when your scholarship application packets are due. Everything has to be turned in for that. And I said this in the email announcing it. And since you're all here, I know that you saw it. We are going to take some time after our speaker to talk about the scholarship specifically. So if you have any questions, or if you are filling it out right now and you're really stressed about something, that will be your time. We'll have like a Q&A, or I'm just going to walk through the application with you. If you don't have any specific questions, and we're just going to cover as many details as we can, so you make sure that if you're interested in the scholarship, that you are getting all the information as you're doing that. So stick around after our speaker. We only have one speaker today, so we can take some time to do that. It will probably end early, so you will get a few extra minutes back in your evening. So just keep that in mind. We're going to do that after our speaker. I'm just going to put my attendance link in there. Hopefully one more time. Okay. Girls Give Back. If you came to Girls Give Back, thank you so much. I hope you all had a great time. We have some really cute pictures from them that we're going to share. I wanted to wait to send out the newsletter until after Girls Give Back, and then I ended up having to travel for work, and I still haven't sent it out. So I'm going to send it out tomorrow. So sorry for the delay, but there's going to be some really cute pictures from Girls Give Back in there. If you were able to come, and if you got to spend some time with your mentor or meet some new people, I really hope that you had a good time. I felt like it went well. If you have any feedback for us, or if anything that you really, really liked or really, really disliked that you think would be beneficial for us to know as we plan for our one that's happening next year, please let us know. The biggest one that I'm sure some of you are thinking, we're going to do it on a Saturday next year. We're not going to do it on a Thursday night. I know that was the biggest form of feedback, was that it was on a bad day for everyone. We're doing it on a Saturday, similar to the conference. How we did it, for those of you who were at the conference, the way that we did it was we did it on a Saturday, and it was in the afternoon, so that it was easy. It was still light out when you drove home, everything like that. So we're going to do the same thing for Girls Give Back in November for 2023. So keep that in the back of your minds. If you have any other feedback besides the time and the date, or the day that it was on, please let me know. I'd be happy to take some. I appreciate that. With that, we have applications for next program year starting on December 14th. And so we're going to announce this in a separate email, but just so you get a little heads up, since you're here, we are going to have a priority access recruitment that is meant specifically for current mentees. So you will all be able to apply for the upcoming school year to be a mentee again 2 weeks earlier than everyone else. And if you apply during those 2 weeks, all of you know we did interviews. You had to schedule an interview in order to be accepted in the program. If you apply from December 14th up to January 1st, you don't have to interview. You're just automatically accepted back into the program, because we know you now. We know that you're a part of it, and that you're committed. So you're going to get to skip that step for it and be able to just join right in and be accepted into the program. And that's only December 14th to January 1st. If you apply after that, then you'll still have to interview. So keep that in mind. We're going to send a bunch more information about that out later. But if you're considering, or if you'd like to join again, which we'd love to have all of you rejoin again for next school year, then keep that in mind. December 14th to January 1st. That is our priority that only you will be able to apply for, and you won't have to interview in order to be accepted into the program. Okay, last call. Please mark your attendance. Please fill out using this QR code or the link that I just sent. One more time, just to be safe. Please send that in and fill in your first and last name so you get credit for it. We'll put your name in for a drawing for the $1,000 scholarship at the end of the year. And then, Ellery, if you could stop sharing your screen and we'll take our little pic. Yay, or all of your favorite time of the workshop. Okay, please take your cameras. Please turn your cameras on. Thank you. You're all amazing. Appreciate it. Let's see. Let me make sure I've got everyone here. Perfect. Okay. Everybody smile. We only have one page, so it'll be quick. 1, 2, 3. Yay. Thank you. All done. See, painless. Okay. Awesome. Now all your cameras go off. Okay. So, sorry, everyone. I'm getting over a cold. I know it's really gross. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for coming to our workshop about career and industry exploration. And some of you, I'm sure, and I know, are already pretty deep into your chosen career fields, whether that be with school, or maybe you got an internship, or maybe you're almost graduating from college in that degree. So we have a member, she's a mentor, who was so excited to talk about this. the first thing that she said to me when this year was starting was that she wanted to do a workshop. And so we're really excited to have her. She was so excited. And the second that we were planning out who was going to do all the workshops, who was going to speak, I knew that I wanted Shawna to participate in one of them. And then unfortunately a bunch of things happened. And so she's not able to be here with us personally, but because she's amazing and because she really, really, really felt that this was important, that she spent some time with you to share some of her insights, she filmed her own video for me to show you. So it's like she is giving the workshop. It's the same exact thing that you're going to see. Unfortunately, she just can't answer questions at the end. However, last month, you were all encouraged to make a LinkedIn. If you don't have one already, I encourage you to, first of all, make a LinkedIn. Second of all, find her on LinkedIn. Her name is Shawna Rasmussen. I'll put her LinkedIn link into the chat. I would encourage you to add her and send her a little message about how much you appreciate the fact that she wasn't able to make it, but she was willing to make a video to show to you. She made a separate and different video for the junior mentee, so she spent a lot of time on this, and I just want her to feel the love for it since she can't be here with you today. So if you could all send her a little message on LinkedIn, I bet she would absolutely love that. And she would just know how appreciated she was. So with that, Shawna Rasmussen, sorry, I'm pulling up her LinkedIn so that I can give you her code here. Okay, so this is her profile. Please go add her and shoot her a little message that you appreciated her time that she spent in with the workshop. But Shawna Rasmussen, she was a Women Who Succeed member last year as well. She's a current mentor this year. She is our resident CPA, and she's going to probably go into what a CPA is today, give you a little bit of background, but she's an accountant, and she is part of a firm. She has her own firm with two other people where they do financial consulting, like personal consulting. And she is amazing. Finance is a male-dominated industry, and so hearing her stories about it and just like knowing how difficult finance is for me, it's something that I really respect her for. So we are going to dive right into that. And once again, after her video is over, we are going to talk about the scholarship, so stick around for that. So let me make sure that you can all hear it. Okay, share computer sound. If you cannot hear it, please let me know. But here is Shawna.
Welcome. I'm excited to be here with you. I wish I could have done this live so that it could be more interactive, but hopefully you'll get to know me well enough that if you see me at an event, come up, and I hope we can meet and tell me you watched this video and introduce yourself, and we can get to know each other. My name is Shawna Rasmussen, and this is my first year as a mentor in Women Who Succeed, and I love it. My mentees are Brooklyn Bagley and Ashley Olenschlager, and you're going to hear from them a little bit later. Brooklyn is a freshman at the University of Utah from Draper, and Ashley is graduating in December in accounting, and she is from Southern Utah. She goes to school at Southern Utah University and just took a full-time job with an accounting firm here in Salt Lake City, and we are very excited for her. I want to talk first about two profiles of people that I think of you that might be listening. The first are some of you may not have a clear career path or industry that you're focused on, and others may have that or may be clear on that. I suspect that those who do probably are not as interested in listening to this video because they're clear on it. But I want to speak to both in case there's somewhere in between. You fall somewhere in between. If you have not chosen a path or major, never fear. Good news. It is okay. I want to read some of what I wrote to the younger group. I did another presentation for the 7th graders to the 11th graders. And we talked a little bit on how you create value. and you're a little more sophisticated in understanding why you're going to college and what you're focusing on, what you're going to do with your education. When you become an adult, you realize that you have to exchange value for value. And we do that in the form of money. Someone values something you have to offer, and since they don't know what you need, they give you money. Money is the medium of exchange, and it's our currency, and the medium of exchange of value, and it's our currency. But right now, and your whole entire life, you have been creating value and making little deposits of value in yourself and creating yourself as a valuable person. If you're in school, you're learning how to write, how to work with other people, how to listen, how to respect people, how to solve problems, learn subjects. Reading creates value. Sometimes you create value and it's hard, and sometimes you create value and it's easy. You create value when you travel, for example, because it's an opportunity to learn and observe how other people do things. When you travel, you should pay attention to and ask questions as many of as many things as possible, because you're creating value through asking questions and being curious. A curious and observant person creates lots of value. To add to this, you're creating value in taking classes in college with an open mind. You may be in a situation that you have to choose a major that you're not sure about. Continue on your path of observing and being curious. If you're not sure, choose something that's a little harder than you care to do. You won't regret hard. I just really think that regrets don't come from choosing something harder than easier. Regrets come from choosing the easy path. This is an expensive place. College is an expensive way to choose easy. Okay, for those of you who have chosen a major and are clear on your path, you need to be networking. You need to be interviewing, serving, taking advantage of extracurricular activities so that you can know what type of job you want, or maybe more importantly, the type of person you want to be, how you want to show up in your career, what you want to learn. You have that power. During the last month, I've been asking people whose paths I've crossed what they think would be important to someone who is deciding what to do with their life and career and how to navigate and make those decisions. The common theme was increasing your network and asking questions. Everyone in this group should have a LinkedIn account. I know. I didn't have a LinkedIn account. I've had a LinkedIn account for a long time, but I never realized the importance until recently. The reason this is important is that it helps you remember who you have met over the years, what they do, what industry they're in, what they're interested in, and what they're currently doing in their career. It's actually a very interesting, very professional social networking platform. Internships are also a great option for you to explore and be mentored. I think most internships are paid positions, and I think it would serve you well to seek opportunities aligned with your interests or were exploratory in nature. The nice thing about internships is that it gives you a taste and a little spending money. So it's a good way to, if you need a job, to be intentional and pick something that is kind of aligned with what you think you're interested in. I also think study abroad programs are valuable, even if they are not part of your industry or career. All the better if they are. I also understand that those opportunities are not available to everyone, as they are generally quite expensive. Since you're in college, you've probably spent time thinking about how you will make money after you are out. You probably know it is coming. Let's talk about this word work. What do you think of when I say that word? If you're like most people, it's probably isn't something you naturally want to do. If that's true, why does everyone do it? Recently, I thought about what would happen if I didn't work. Then I started to think about what would happen if everyone felt that way. How would I get food? How would I build a house to live in? How would I travel? How would I live? We all have to work to contribute to each other. Fortunately or unfortunately, we assign a currency to other people's value. One thing I want to point out is that value and worth are not the same. If there is anything I could leave with you, value and worth are not the same, and I hope to separate those two. Everyone has the same worth, all of us. Not only that, but our worth never changes. We're born with the same amount and we die with the same amount. However, our value does change, and sometimes our value is outside of our control. Sorry, I'm not really great at splicing, so give me a little break here, but I'm doing my best. So I was just saying that value is kind of outside of our control because it's what someone else is willing to pay for our value, and that is also why it's important to understand that it's not the same as our worth. Everyone needs to know that there's two parts of a value equation. One is the income, and that is what people pay us when we give them our value. And the other side of the income is how we spend that income. The great news is that we have a choice in both. If we want to spend a lot, we need to learn how to create a lot of value. And so that we can receive more income. If we don't care about spending a lot, then we don't need to create as much value. And that can be important to understand what we want. During the last few years, I have been invited to teach a class at the physical therapy doctorate program at the University of Utah. And I am really passionate about this because I'm married to a physical therapist, and this is a doctoral program. It's $65,000 a year for the 3 years of tuition. And the starting salary is about $50,000 to $60,000 a year. And I think that it's super important for them to hit the ground running and not make financial mistakes. And so I love teaching them about very simple personal financial principles. And the thing that they have on their side is time. And if they can be systematic and understand a few principles about investing and retirement and taxes, then they'll be okay. And they can pay down their debt and they can do all the things that they need to be doing. But they've got to be very careful and very intentional. And I would suggest to people that if you are choosing to, that you're choosing a career or industry that is a little bit lower for income, and you're okay with that, please, 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 all of you, really devour personal finance. Learn as much as you can about it, because the most important thing is time is on your side. And of course, this is my passion, is teaching people financial principles. It's one of my hobbies. It's one of my passions. I really love it. So anytime anyone's going to ask me to speak, it's going to end up talking about personal finance or taxes or small business. But I hope that everyone knows that's a common principle, and that it really allows for more choice in your life. It allows for you to follow your passions if that's the case. And so, having said that, I would like to have you hear from one of my dearest friends. Her name is Brooke Foster Elison, and we have been friends for a very long time. She is. I'm just so grateful for her in so many ways. She lives in Washington now, but I met her when she was getting her master's degree, and at the same time she was starting a blog, and she will tell you all about it. But I just want to say that it's a great example of someone who follows her passion, but not at the expense of her education. Her education was first, and then she made a pivot. And also, just pay attention to the very end when she talks about how, sometimes we look at these influencers or we look at these people that seem to follow their passion, but it's also about creating value slowly and patiently along the way. And it's not always as sexy as we think it might be. And So I'm going to let you listen to her and then I'll splice things back.
Hey, my name is Brooke Elison, and thanks, Shawna, for inviting me to be here today virtually with you. Today, I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my story and my experience of having a formal education, but also pursuing my passion. So we'll start with the formal education part. Since I was about 17 or 18 years old, I decided I wanted to be a speech language pathologist. And lucky for me, I never ended up changing my major or changing my mind. And so from the minute I stepped foot onto college campus as a freshman until I graduated, which I graduated both from the U for my undergrad and grad degree, so go Utes. I never deviated from that plan, and it checked all of the boxes for me. There were a lot of things I was interested in, and I had a really great experience. And so when I graduated in 2015, I was so excited to finally be done with school. And I worked in a few different, since then I've worked in a few different settings. I took my first job at a skilled nursing facility and then have worked in several hospitals as a speech language pathologist. And I've really found the setting I love. I love working in an acute care setting. That's something that is really exciting to me. And it's been such a great experience, but my life kind of took an unexpected turn when right around the time when I was graduating, my blog that I started in 2010 kind of took off. So let's back up to 2010. I was living in West Yellowstone above a restaurant, and I got the brilliant idea one day to start a food blog and document the restaurants I was trying. And I say brilliant sarcastically because the blog in the very beginning was very minimal and nothing really inspiring or crazy. This was in a time where a lot of people were documenting what they were doing throughout the week with their families on Blogger and Blogspot blogs. And so I decided I would do that with food and share different restaurants I was trying because I've always been super passionate about food and restaurants. So the first 4 or 5 years, I'm pretty sure only my mom and sister read this blog. It's called Female Foodie. It initially was called My Eats, My Thoughts. And like I said, right about as I got out of grad school and was starting my first job as a professional, my blog kind of started to take off a little. I actually got really focused on search engine optimization, otherwise known as SEO. And so it was kind of a game for me to see how many people I could get on my website. And at the same time, I was also growing my social media following. So fast forward to today, it's 2022. It's 7 years since I graduated with my grad degree. And it's also 7 years since I really started focusing on building my own business. And not only do I work full-time for myself, but my husband works with me. We work as a team. And I'm not currently practicing as a speech language pathologist. So a couple thoughts I have on that. I wouldn't change anything. I'm really happy I have my formal education. And I feel like even though I am not using maybe some of the specific things I learned from my professors or in school, I still have carried a lot of the principles that I acquired throughout grad school and in my early professional years into what I'm doing now. So I think as I'm talking about pursuing your passion today, it's important to know that I think there's a lot to say about getting a good education. And I think the best case scenario is when you can find an education that pairs really well with something you're passionate about. I think that's a really great combination to have. So I want to share 3 really brief pieces of advice in terms of things I feel like people should know if they're interested in pursuing their passion. And the first thing I think is you want to pick the right thing. And obviously there's so many different things you can do. When I say pursue your passion, that can look so different for everyone, but it should be something you're fired up about. And in my case, it was something that my friends and family had come to me for years and asked me about, which was, where should we eat? And so that was a really natural fit. So as you're, maybe you have an idea in mind, or maybe you're exploring different options, but I think it's really important that it's something that really, like I said, you're fired up about, you're excited about. The second thing that I would recommend is that you find something that you can serve others with. And it sounds cheesy and cliche, but it should be something that you can make the world a better place through. So what is something that you can offer value? How can you be serving people? This can look so different. It doesn't have to be one specific thing, but in my case, it's making sure that people don't eat bad food ever again, whether they're eating out at a restaurant or they're preparing something at home with their family. So consider, what is the value you're adding? How are you contributing to society? And then the third thing that I wanted to bring up that I think is really important if you're considering going down this path or you're trying to figure out what it is you're passionate about, is that in my experience, all of the success that I've had or the progress that I've made or achieving any kind of milestones in my traditional professional career and now in pursuing this passion of mine is just showing up daily, just putting in the incremental effort. I think that in the society we live in, it's really alluring to see the big wins and the big successes and the followers, and a lot of it looks glamorous, and a lot of it's easy for people to see what I'm doing because I have a presence online and you can see what I'm doing on my website and on my social media, but a lot of hard work goes into it, and a lot of the hard work are not fun, super exciting things. A lot of the hard work is getting up early to send out emails, or writing and rewriting different pieces of content, or I have a contributing team of almost 20 women sitting down on a phone call with them and going over a piece together. So those are 3 pieces of advice that I hope that are helpful, and I just want to wrap up by sharing the thought that I think that it's so cheesy and it's so cliche, but really, if there's something you're passionate about and you're willing to work hard, you can do anything that you want to do. And I am living proof of that. If you would have told me as a teenager or even a freshly graduated student that I would now, as a full-time job, be doing things like taste tests and developing recipes and trying restaurants, and that was my livelihood, I would have never believed you. So good luck to you all, and thanks for letting me be here today.
That was awesome. I love listening to Brooke. But now, to end, I want to introduce you to Ashley. She is one of my mentees who is near and dear to my heart. We have the same passion, really, which is accounting, if that's considered a passion. But I love her story too. I've asked her to kind of tell her path from high school through college and not knowing exactly what she wanted to do, and where she ended up in accounting. And I just love her story. And so I'm going to turn the time over to Ashley for a minute, and then I'll circle back around.
Hey guys, I'm Ashley, and Shawna asked me to kind of speak to you about how I went from like junior high, high school to college and where I am now, and how I decided on like my career path and what I wanted to do. So to start, I actually got my associate's degree in high school, and so my like high school really pushed for science and math courses, and to like get a degree in like more of the sciences field. And so I thought I wanted to do chemistry, and so I wanted to be a pharmacist. I quickly learned that was not true. And don't be afraid to like change your major, because I've changed mine 3 times. So at first I wanted to be a chem major. Quickly learned, it was interesting, but I was not good at it and I did not enjoy doing it. Secondly, I switched to psychology. I worked with some people who had some mental disabilities, and I thought I would really enjoy like helping them and being a therapist for them. And I also quickly learned I did not want to do that either. So here I am, and I am now an accounting major. I'll have my bachelor's degree this December, and I'll start my master's in the spring. But I also have a full-time job offer, so I will also be working full-time at an accounting firm in the spring as well. So that was awesome. I think how I transitioned from school to getting a job was just networking. I want to really like emphasize how important that is. So if you can go to any networking events with companies, I would recommend that, just because the more you can talk and get to know them, the more they're going to want you at their company and the more job offers you're going to get. I applied for 4 jobs and I got 4 offers. And that was just from me networking over the years of me being in the accounting program at my college. So yeah, I think that's about it. Don't be afraid to change your majors and don't be afraid to fail. And then as long as you keep going, failure it's kind of inevitable. So I wish you all the luck.
Oh, Ashley is awesome. I'm just so excited to see where her career goes. And I'm so grateful for this program. I feel like I will be friends with Ashley and Brooklyn. Brooklyn recorded a video for the younger group. And hers was amazing. Brooklyn is an amazing person. And I thank you for watching this horribly edited presentation on career and industry exploration. And I wish you all the best. I really wish I had a program like this when I was in high school and college and your age. And the fact that you are here and you're listening to this tells us a lot, and that you come to events and you are participating. You're doing all the things we've talked about today. We all know you are, but that's the kind of people that you are, and we can sense that you're going to be amazing, and we are lucky to know all of you. Good luck with everything, and we hope to see you soon.
All right, Shawna is amazing, and we're so grateful for her to have taken the time to make those videos for us. I don't think I wouldn't even know where to begin splicing those videos together. So when she suggested that she did that, I was like, if you can do it, you go for it, and we will love you for it. So I'm grateful that she did that. I hope each of you are able to take something out of it, kind of like what Amy pointed out. The female foodie was in it, so that was kind of cool. She's got these friends that are just so awesome and high up there. So that was a really cool little cameo that she did for us. So we're glad that she was able to get involved. But yeah, so I hope that each of you were able to take at least something away from that, and have something that you can use in your own lives that she or Ashley or Brooke were able to point out to kind of help you with your career and industry exploration. Okay, so once again, last time, please reach out to Shawna on LinkedIn and let her know how much it meant to you that she took that time to make those videos for you. She did that with you guys in mind. As I said before, she made one video for you and one for the younger group. So it took her a really long time to. Excuse me. So sorry. I'm like dying over here. Okay. So with that in mind, it is time to talk about scholarships. And I've seen a few of looking at the names of those who are here today. I know a few of you have already sent me some questions. Some of you have even applied, or I've gotten letters of recommendation for you on behalf of you. So I wanted to use the rest of this time, or just maybe a few more minutes, so that you can get some extra time back tonight to go over the scholarship application for round 1. And so with that, are there any pressing questions or any specific questions that any of you have right off the bat before we get into it?
Just clarifying, so the personal essay requirement, that's just the 2 questions that we have to answer, right?
Yeah, yep, they're the same.
Sounds good.
Yes, thank you.
I have a question. I saw that there was kind of like a PDF for the formatting for the application.
Mhm.
Are we supposed to like download that and then fill it out? Or should we just like attach Word docs with the essay questions on there? I just wasn't sure if there was a specific format you wanted.
Yeah, so the PDF that the application is on is a fillable PDF. So you can click on those blue boxes and fill it out pretty easily and then save it. And with the personal essay, I know that people have run into problems where it cuts you off at like 200 something words. And so if you need to, you can type it up on a separate doc, the rest of your essay, like you can type your whole 2 essay answers on a different doc and send that in as well. Whatever works, depends on how long you want your essay to be. But that PDF is going to be fillable, so you can just put in your answers right on top of that and then save it and then submit it after the question or the answers that you put in have been saved.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so there's a few in the comments. So Tessa, for the finished packet, do you just want the filled out prompts or the whole thing? Okay, so for the scholarship application, I'm assuming that's what you talked about. I want the whole thing. You can just send the entire page back to me because there's something on every single page that needs to be filled out, whether that's like you signing it or you checking it off. So you can send back the entire packet to me, the application packet. And then it is, the whole thing is, I'm assuming what you mean, like the whole program. The program meeting started in September. And then through December is when we're going to look at your round 1 engagement. So we're going to look at how many times you attended your monthly mentorship meeting in September, October, November, and December, because I'm not going to hear back from the selection committee until December. So by then I'll be able to see if you made your meeting or not. So yeah, as long as you met with your mentor at least 3 out of those 4 months, then you're eligible. I got another question. The scholarship is not only for college students, but if you're a high schooler who's currently taking or is about to start taking college level classes where you have to pay tuition for it, you can take it. So even if you're a junior, if you are registered in a concurrent level course and you have to pay money for that, then you can take the scholarship. Basically any classes that you're in that you have a tuition bill for, if you do have a tuition that you have to pay by this summer or next fall, then you can apply, then you're eligible. Let's see, Kate, what college, university you're attending or expected to attend. If you don't know yet, just list where you're applying. And then by the time that you are going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? By the time that you're going to be receiving that scholarship, if you receive it, then you will know, because we won't be able to send it to you until January. And then we won't need to send it to you. Like the latest that you could use it is by fall. And so you'll have like a few months. And by that point, you'll have decided or at least heard back. So yeah, just list where you're applying. And then when the time comes, if you are selected to receive a scholarship, we can circle back to that and make sure that you know what school you're going to and where we can send that money to. Awesome. You're welcome. Is there any other questions right off the bat? Okay, so I'm just going to take a minute to explain it or to like go through it with you really quick. The application. Just make sure we're all on the same page. Let's see. Okay, so here's your application. And all of this should be pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, kind of like what Kate was saying, this question 5 right here. I'll highlight that. If you don't know yet, if you haven't picked one or if you haven't heard back from your universities, then you can just put where you've applied for your universities if you don't already know. For these ones, you can just check off where you've engaged as a mentee, what you've done. And the one thing I want to point out that I have sent in previous emails, but just want to clarify, attending the Girls Give Back event isn't going to be considered for this round, but in February, we're going to have our second round of scholarships that come out. And that's when we're going to ask if you went to Girls Give Back. So if you did attend Girls Give Back or you did the alternate service activity, that is where we're going to ask you for it, is that round 2 in February. Okay, so this is a big question I'm getting. The personal essay, kind of like what Ramona was asking. This part C, personal essay, is the same exact prompts and questions as these 2 pages right here. It's the same thing. You don't have to send anything extra. You don't have to do anything besides just fill in these 2 boxes with the 2 prompts. But if you get up to 500 words, and unfortunately it doesn't fit 500 words in that box. And so if you need it to be longer, if you want to fit more than, I think it's like 250 or something words in the box, then you're welcome to make a separate document and submit that with the with your packet. But if you do that, please, in the box with the personal essay, please make a note that says like see attached PDF for personal essay answers, so that when I'm looking at your application and I'm putting it all together, I remember by looking at your note that you have it on a separate page, and I don't think that you just didn't put it in. Okay. So please make a note of that. Down here, I do need this signed. So this is why I was saying I need all of this. I need this entire packet sent back to me. I need this to be signed, and I need all of you to go through that application checklist again, just to double check that you have everything. You need a letter of recommendation from both your mentor who's assigned to you and a current scholastic leader. So that could be a teacher, professor, administrator, whoever. It is due on Friday. If you haven't asked someone for your letter of recommendation yet, and you're planning on asking them, I will use this as a teaching opportunity. That's not enough time. You should still ask them now and see if they have the time. But if they come back to you and say, you didn't give me enough time to do it before Friday, that's not enough time for someone to have gotten that to you. You should do it at least a week before, especially because letters of recommendations are kind of difficult to write, especially when they're trying to think of what to write. They're trying to, think of what to highlight. It's not very considerate of their time for you to only give them 2 days to write it for you and return it with such a hard deadline. So use this as a learning moment. If you haven't asked people for letters of recommendation yet, if they come back to you and say they don't have enough time, that is kind of to be expected, because they would only have less than 2 days. So please keep that in mind for now and for round 2. You're going to need to give people more of a heads up in order to do you a favor, like writing you a letter of recommendation. And then the typed personal essay, again, it's just page 3 and 4 of the application, but it is, you can make it a separate document if you need to. Okay, another question that I was getting a lot of that I just want to clarify is there's no certain format or template that we want people to use for letters of recommendation, because I want you to try to direct them yourself on what they should write. And by that, I mean, you need to know, or at least have read the guidelines in the application to kind of know what we're looking for this scholarship. We've talked about it a few times. So if someone asks you, what do you want me to put in your letter of recommendation? I want you to kind of take the lead on it and say, because this is for a scholarship for a mentorship program that I'm a part of, they focus a lot on education, whatever it is you want to say, I want you to be able to have your own voice through them of what you want them to highlight in the letter of recommendation. And again, they don't have to send it to you. They can send it directly to me if you want them to. I'll put my email in the chat again, even though I'm sure all of you know it by now. So you can use my email. The recording for this workshop is going to be available tomorrow morning. I'm sending out the newsletter with the link for it. So you'll get it tomorrow. With that, are there any final questions about scholarships or about whatever? If you can't get the letter of recommendations on time, I would suggest turning in as much as you have by Friday at 5. and I will send it to the selection committee and I'll see what they say. So I would suggest submitting as much as you have by Friday at 5 p.m. If you don't have one of the letters of recommendation, maybe send in like a note or make a note about that. I will send it to the selection committee and they'll decide what to do from there. So I would say just do your best, get as much as you can, submit it, and then I will see what happens with the selection committee. I am not on the selection committee. I send it off to them. My job is to just compile them. And so I don't have any kind of say in who gets anything. My whole job is to just make sure that they're filled out correctly, that everyone who's submitted to the selection committee is eligible for the Women Who Succeed scholarships. And then they tell me who they want to receive the scholarships and I will reward them. So don't come to me. I don't make any of the decisions. I just do all the footwork for collecting them and sending them off to the women who do decide who get the scholarships. Another question I got is, how will scholarships be awarded and when, in what amounts? We're looking at $1,000 each for each round. And the scholarships will be awarded via check directly to your schools. So by January 6th, we'll have notified all of the recipients for the round 1 scholarship. So by January 6th, you will know if you've gotten one or not. And after that, we'd send instructions for how to get that check sent to your schools. But yeah, so that's the process. So January 6th is when you'd figure it out. Is when we tell you if you received one or not. It will be for $1,000 most likely, and we'll send the check directly to your school to pay for your tuition. Another note is that I just forgot it. What was I going to say? Oh, we don't know exactly how many we're going to give out yet. I have about 30 applications so far. And if you saw the guidelines at the top, it says we're giving out a minimum of 30,000 for this round. So hopefully we'll be able to give out a few more. I would definitely recommend just applying. Nothing's going to hurt if you just apply. You're always going to be grateful. You will not regret applying, even if you don't get it, right? It's not going to be a waste of your time. So I would very, very much encourage you to apply with as much as you can collect. If you can't get all your letters of recommendation or you can't find a transcript, please just apply with as much as you can. We'll send it to the scholarship selection committee and see what they say. There's no hurt in trying. So Kennedy, thank you. Appreciate that. She left, but that was nice of her. Does anyone have any final questions before I let you go? If not, you can email me, of course. Oh, great question. So about the PDF files, if you could make them all into PDF files, that's easiest for me to put them all together. If not, it's fine. I can make them into PDF files. I would just prefer if they were all in PDF. It doesn't have to be compiled into one large PDF. I'd actually prefer if it was all separate, like multiple files. I do want it all in the same email though. Please do not send me multiple emails. I only want one. Otherwise I will be swamped. In terms of applying for the program next year, does the curriculum for the monthly mentor meeting change or do they remain the same? We change it every year. The workbooks change. So if you do it this year, you'll get new content next year and you'll have new mentors and you'll have new groups and you'll have new meeting topics and resources and activities and stuff like that. So I would absolutely recommend to apply for next year because we make it different. We make it fun. We want you to do this for as often as long as it will benefit you. Yeah, if you fill it all out in Google Docs, please just make sure to convert it back to a PDF after that, because sometimes I can't access the Google Docs. So you can fill it out in Google Docs, but just make sure to send it back the same way that I sent it out in a PDF form. Okay. Yes, thanks, Amy. You can download it as a PDF from the Google Doc. So just make sure that you put it back into a PDF for me. It makes it a lot easier for me. And every time, once you send in your scholarship application packet, I'll always respond back and tell you that I got it. So if you haven't gotten an email back from me, I probably haven't gotten it yet. So I would double check because I've emailed everyone that I've gotten one from so far. So I would keep that in mind. So I respond just to make sure, just so you know that I got it. But are there any final questions before I let you go? If there are, you're welcome to email me directly, or the Women Who Succeed email, and we can go over it. But I really encourage you all to apply. And I really hope that you learn something from Shawna or learn something about scholarships. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And please go find Shawna on LinkedIn and thank her for her time. But I hope all of you have a great night. Thank you so much for your time and joining us today. And we will see you next month, I guess. Yeah, thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You're welcome. Bye.